Welcome. Simulation 276. Can you guys hear me, by the way? I don't know if you guys can hear me. Wait. I think you guys can hear me fine, right? What's up, everyone? Miller and Jackie and Guru. And you guys on TikTok can hear me for sure. Yes, awesome. I'm trying to install this new Shure mic. Let's see if it allows me to do it real quickly so you guys get a much better sound. Apparently, it's a whole thing. Choose my own. Let's see if it works. Yes. Okay. I think we should work now. Beautiful. I don't remember. Today is what? The 7th? There we go. Up. Go up. Beautiful. Okay, so we can start, I think. I think we can start. How are you guys doing today? This is a super laid-back day for me. Was it for you? Agree. Install. Wow, today things are so quick, it's crazy. I didn't even know that it has like a whole package and a whole ordeal. But I think now we can start using it, I believe. We already did that. General blah, 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 blah. Scarlet Soto. Anyway, I was trying to give you a better mic, but this might have to wait because it takes way longer than I thought. How are you guys? Sorry about that. I'm trying to install this thing, and I'm pretty sure it's going to sound a lot better than what you hear right now. But I don't think it will allow me to do it currently. So we're going to have to... Guess we're going to have to wait. Back to monitor. Yeah, I'm going to have to figure it out. Let's see if I try to switch audio. Mic. No, it's not showing it. Oh, maybe this? Can you guys hear me now? Is this better? Can you hear me with the mic? Well, I'm glad to hear that, Val. What's up, Power Off? Base Trading, Miller. What's up, everybody on TikTok? Nico just joined. How are you, my brother? So good to see you. William, thank you so much for the likes. I appreciate you. Great. Can you hear me now? No? All right. I was literally received it like an hour before I got home, and then I was kind of looking at it, and I wanted to just like, hey, can I just do it, you know? And apparently not. Apparently it creates way more problems than it solves. So we're gonna do one more live just like this. Let me also start the the group on Core. going to create an event for everybody to come join if they want. Okay, so the stage on Discord is also open. Jonathan's in the house. Agent Revolution. If you guys want to chat about something interesting and you have some points to bring on, please bring it. Oh, Ozzy passed away. That's why the good friend of mine is a music producer, and he posted a picture with him back in the day. And I was like, why did he post a picture with him? Now I know. How are everybody doing tonight? It's a big day, huh? Ozzy was a legend. William, thank you so much. Freeman, Lipsian's in the house. Thank you, Val. I appreciate you. We like core very much. Apparently, it's also heart, spelled exactly like this in Latin. Wait, you guys can hear me now, right? Mandela effect for you. That's really funny. No, Ozzy, I'm pretty sure today's the day. But then again, Ozzy did look like he might have died a few times, more than once. He was a legend, man. Do you have a further response to Andrew Gilmore's comment on Danny Jones' podcast? I know you have done a video response. Just wondering if you had more. I don't know if you saw, but we had the last episode on my YouTube channel, Dango Thoughts, is a conversation with Andrew. So that's one. That was right before he went to see Danny. And we have a much longer conversation. It's going to be in the film, some of it, and then we're going to release the full conversation after the movie is released. But Andrew asked me if I want to do another X event where we're going to talk together. So that's going to be coming up soon. We definitely have some good camaraderie around our disagreement, and that's wonderful, and good. What's up, Sluggish, Michelle, Phil? Again, William, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate you, brother. Okay, let's see if we can dive into something. Nico, how are you, my brother? If you want to jump on, you're always invited. There we go. Aaron is in the house. Bro, the guest. I'm so honored. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing great. I've been jiggling with your molecule all day today.
Yeah, I tagged you and Andrew on that.
Andrew reposted it. Yeah, I reposted it.
Yeah, Andrew responded. He's like, "Hey, this is cool. What did you do here?" And I was like, "Oh, I just ran a simulation, but I'm hoping to be the olive branch, the peacekeeper." No, I think you guys are cool. I mean, he said there's no beef between
I don't understand why people think that. Cosmo, no. I have no idea. Me and Andrew are friends.
It's more exciting when you guys are beefing, you know?
I see. Yeah. Well, no, we're friends. Like, there's actually zero animosity, and we really enjoy our disagreement. That's a beautiful thing to have. I think it's what makes things interesting. Yeah. I also understand his position. If he's not going to invest time in seeing it, then it's not going to be convincing, especially when friends of his who tried it didn't see it. It's totally fine. Cosmo is a cool name. I agree. We also realized today that, not today, it was like 2 days ago, that his middle name is Pablo. He's Cosmo Pablo Goller. That's his full name. I can totally see him like with a handkerchief that says Pablo on it. You know, kind of like Tintin, like a cartoon dog. I know Tintin is not a dog, but he has a dog. So kind of like in that cartoon. What's up, Glenn? Also, it would be interesting actually to simulate the second we understand anything about. Do you think you can simulate what happens in the brain when the molecule is doing its thing?
I can only simulate the molecule bonding to one receptor. But I believe Andrew, in his podcast with Danny Jones, mentioned that he simulated, I think he said 14 seconds of a synaptic cleft. in a neuron.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that took like 2 weeks on a supercomputer in Japan.
Isn't it crazy?
So yeah, I don't know. This stuff doesn't scale well.
Not yet.
But who knows? There might be a simple way to approximate, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, if the molecule is a vessel through which aliens transmute information, then
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe these simulations have some of that information embedded. I don't know. Maybe not. Probably not. But
wait, how to do it? You mean?
Well, I don't know. Like the thing is like a lot of people talk about vibrations and frequencies, and when you simulate these molecules, you are calculating their vibrations and their frequencies.
Okay.
And the question that I ask myself, like, okay, is all this just like woo-woo stuff, or is this like real? Is there real magic behind this? Because if there is, these are the equations, right? So I'm wondering, like, if aliens are communicating through us to us through these molecules, then I don't know. Maybe there's something there, but maybe not.
What is the? I don't quite understand. You're saying just actually going to the space and receiving the information of how to do it?
No, I'm wondering if there's information encoded in the molecule.
I think no. I think it's a gate opener. Of course, it's possible, but yeah, you mean like in the DNA, basically.
Or maybe it's like a key, but the lock key system is kind of the brain is like the lock or something.
Yeah. Well, the brain is, I think, the thing that limits you. It's kind of like aiming the channel towards a particular direction, which is what makes this reality what it is. I think that's exactly what's happening. But wait, hold on. Let me find what I do have an interesting idea of is that the other day I had like what's basically it was like a weird moment where I was kind of laying down, and it was after a 5 experience, and just the way that the chair was exactly framing the mug that we have of Code of Reality, and it says, "Have you seen the code?" Which, by the way, you guys should get one. Go to codeofreality.com and get yourself a mug, and that will help the channel. And also, you're gonna get a really cool Code of Reality mug. So it says, "Have you seen the code?" Right? But for some reason, the way it hit me and the way it was framed, for some reason, my brain read, "Have you scanned the code?" And I was like, "Huh?" I was like, "Interesting. I wonder what that means. If it means anything." But then I was like, "Wait a second. Maybe there is a way to scan the code." Do you have any thoughts?
Sorry. Yes. 5 is an interesting channel. I mean, you think scanning though? Like, what do you
Yeah, I don't
like,
know. I don't know, but it was just an interesting moment because I was like, "Huh?" Yeah. It was like it was almost like a wink. It was like, "Huh?" And I was like,
yeah.
"Whoa, what do you mean? What would that mean? Just get another supermarket scanner and just go. What if we do it and it just goes, tick, there's a price. It's like $42. Well, that was not surprising.
Yeah, it's like a bar. It's a Costco chicken.
It's just an interdimensional chicken. That's amazing. No, but I wonder if there's a way, like if there's information there must be something that can read the information. Essentially, what scanning is, right? Is some digital way or electronic way of reading a barcode, which means there's a sequence of something. Something might be able to read it. What is it though? I would assume it would involve us, but maybe us in a particular step. I'm not sure. Maybe we're the scanner. Thank you so much for the likes. I was here.
Yeah, I was thinking a little bit about what you said the other day about dreams being a very low resolution simulation that our brains do.
Yeah, a lower resolution than this, I would say, yeah.
Whereas when we're awake, we're processing real, vivid information, which is then rendered into a very real simulation, right? Or a very sharp simulation, I should say.
Sharp simulation. Oh, you mean sharper?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the molecule feels like. Have you even done them? Have you never done them? Oh, I think you said you haven't, right?
I haven't done the spirit molecule, but I've done his cousin.
Okay. Which is?
The
Aya?
no, the mushroom pizza.
Oh, okay, yeah. But it also kind of gets into the kind of like the HD territory, basically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it depends on the dose, but I really like that molecule a lot. I'm for some reason not like scared of that molecule.
Yeah, most people aren't.
Yeah, it's very gentle too. I feel like
it definitely is more forgiving. It's much more gentle, especially with newcomers.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's I like it, but is a spirit molecule? Would you say that's less gentle on a newbie? Like it'll.
It's not. It's less concerned with you. It's more just like you're going, buddy. Just like it's like a rocket ship.
I think that was interesting about what Andrew Gallimore said.
Andrew Goller is a good combo.
Andrew Goller. He said that Aya is about 20% of what a breakthrough dose would be.
Depends. That's not true. No, depending the amount. If you drink 6 cups, it's up there.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Definitely depends. But usually shamans wouldn't give you 6 cups. They're usually a lot more conservative.
I wonder too if your body prevents you from drinking that much, where like you have such a response that like 6 cups would be insane.
No, right? I know people that do 9, 12.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I've done 6 or 7, I think. No, I know people that do a lot more. I mean, it's not about doing more, but it's like there's definitely people that can glide through that space. And especially if you already cleaned your body, then you can withstand a lot more. Like your body doesn't respond in the same way. You don't have as much to purge. Stop, Stephanie. You've never done it, right?
No, I haven't done Aya, but that's one that I feel comfortable doing.
Like going to Peru and doing it?
Yeah, I was initially going to go to Peru with my friends. She goes every year in the spring, but her shaman's like family member, her shaman's mom passed away, so they kind of threw a wrench in that plan. But hopefully soon. It's like a 3-week. They recommend 3 weeks, so I don't know if that's like every day, but I imagine there's a lot.
3 weeks? No, that's probably including the dieta. There's no way it's every day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think the most people do is a week. Maybe a little bit more, but like I don't see any use in that. You do the dieta, so they want to make sure that they always make sure they see what your intake is. That's because, well, there's spiritual reasons and then there's physical reasons. The part of the brew that is responsible, the MAOI part, also inhibits a particular enzyme that is responsible for the vicissitude of I think salt, and I think mostly salt, but I think maybe also sugar. There's some portion, like very important part, that is directly linked to blood pressure. So you tone down that enzyme. So now if you eat certain things, you are risking your blood pressure going through the roof really fast. And especially when you're doing the medicine, then it will go even faster. And so usually you would get a headache, but it can become life-threatening if you actually consumed a lot of specific foods. This is why dieta includes only like steamed rice, very like completely flavorless chicken that was just boiled. There's like all kinds of things that they do, but that's what the dieta is for. And they say there's also like spiritual reasons, but that's the physical one. So I think what you're describing is including the dieta. Probably they do it with you, and they kind of sit and do all that stuff.
You see, I have a hard time imagining like they invented this from like a scientific method. You know, there's like too many variables, like optimizing the diet, optimizing all the whole brew.
Well, it could be incremental, but if we really want to kind of, steel man the physicalist explanation. So they could do it incrementally, and a bunch of people got felt weird, and then eventually they figured it out. But also, they do say that the plants told them, and I believe it. But then again, which plants told them? They just spoke to them before they consumed them? Also an
Yeah, like the chicken and the egg problem. Like, how did you, or maybe the plants told them without any trip first, I guess. But yeah, that's interesting. I've always been blown away. I actually want to order Andrew's book just to see if it sounds like he covered a lot of the history. So
yeah, I'm slowly getting through it. Just now, there's a lot less time to actually figure it out. By the way, I wanted to ask you this: the way you simulated the vibration of the molecule, is this the same software usually used to kind of simulate a bunch of materials and things like this and chemicals?
Yeah, so so it's called density functional theory. It's the quantum mechanics to go that solves these molecules. And so what happens is you can solve a ground state energy of molecules.
Okay.
And you can measure like this kind of set of states near the ground state. So you measure these oscillations around ground state. However, and this simulation normally takes like 12 hours to run. But Meta released this. They trained this massive AI model over 5 years and over 100 million simulations to predict what these ground states are going to be, like way shorter. So in about like 20 minutes, it predicts what normally would take 12 hours. And so it's essentially like shortcutting that prediction, but it's extremely accurate when you compare it to the classical way of doing this. And so it just kind of dropped about a month ago, and I just started playing with it. And yeah, so now I'm like, what can I do with this stuff? And so naturally my mind goes to, can we make NFTs? But also I'm trying to kind of like find things to simulate. So I'm going to put together a big data set where we simulate these things. But there's another deep model that can predict how these molecules interact with proteins and with receptors. And so we can actually run like a simulation of the molecule vibrating in the receptor. So that's pretty cool, because that also is very, very compute intensive, but now it can be done like, in like an hour.
Wow. Yeah, I'm actually excited to
So if you want to generate, if you need B-roll or anything like that, or like simulation stuff, like we can do stuff like that.
B-roll of what?
I don't know. Maybe the film starts with like, like how Contact started, where the whole universe is like going into Jodie Foster's eyeball.
Yeah.
And then you keep going into your eyeball, and it's just like a vibrating molecule.
And this is a cat that flips you up. Flips you up.
Yeah, then we can have a cat that flips you off. Yeah, a little Maxwell cat, a little Schrodinger cat that just flips you off.
Jackie, what if I just come up with it? I was like, somebody said, why do you think the universe was created? I was like, I think to calculate the ultimate question. And Jackie goes, what's the ultimate question? What if I would just say it? Then everything would just end.
You posted something today that I was like thinking about. You said that there's a theory that everyone finds out the true meaning of the universe, but then it gets distorted or something. What was that?
No, this is from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. This is you never read the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, bro?
I saw the movie when I was a kid.
Dude,
I just remember.
I'm so jealous. Like he is one of the most brilliant writers to have ever lived, And if you read this again in the context of understanding that it's a humorous thing, so first of all, he's the master of cadence. Read this as if it would be spoken. Like it's such a masterful, like, I don't even know what to call it, but like it's such a masterful arrangement of words. And the whole, like, this is exactly, I always describe that Douglas Adams writes like a fractal. Like you understand at the end what the whole thing is, but then the whole thing is so perfect that it can, every part refers to any other part. It's just unbelievable. It's basically that but it's exactly how it's written, and there's no way I can do it justice. It's that every word is positioned exactly where it needs to be, and there's the you can feel the pause before the punchline. It's so masterful. Basically, the punchline is it doesn't matter, and that because it's like wait, because the next thing is like wait, but like what do you mean weirder, right? Like if you really think about it, what do you mean weirder? Oh, right, it's already super weird. So maybe even if it happened, it makes no difference because like the previous weird and this weird is completely indistinguishable. None of it matters. Just live your life, kind of thing. And that's essentially what this whole thing is.
Yeah, I think that's kind of that makes a lot of sense. I mean, even with a lot of this Big Bang stuff, right? Like we're just starting to see scientists. Well, okay, so in 2008, I went to a talk at JPL where this guy was talking about the Big Bang theory, and it seems like people were very resistant to any other theory besides the Big Bang theory at that time. I could have a wrong read on it, but it seemed like it was like everyone was on the same page.
Okay.
But about 10 years ago, I started hearing people becoming more open to a non-Big Bang theory, but just the infinite universe theory.
A small
right?
bang theory.
What was that?
A small bang theory.
Yeah, a small Bang theory. But then more recently, I'm starting to hear a lot more people become open to it. And with this recent, these recent set of data this last 6 months, I think has really been opening the door a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And the point of view that I came in to was like, okay, there was either a Big Bang or there was no bang. Does it really matter, right? Like,
well, it matters to physicists. I mean, it does. If you build your entire framework on it, then it does, right?
Yeah, I guess. Well, so this is the problem I have with the Big Bang too. It's like, okay, so we have this Big Bang theory, but then when you look at the other parts of the universe, like dark energy, dark matter, these are massive holes in your theory of everything. And so, could you? It feels a little bit whenever your theory has these massive holes, it feels weird to say anything definitive about anything at that point, right?
No. What do you mean? Like you can absolutely still make a whole chunk of it work.
Yeah, but the energy balance of like just even to say like okay, everything originated from this one point, and then there's these weird pockets of like extra mass, and there's these huge errors, and so we're just gonna say that.
Wait, which errors? Which one?
The errors are that the mass doesn't add up, right? So like
no, it's not exactly that. So there's a lot of detractors from the theory, obviously, but it's not. It arises from the data. It's not ad hoc. Like it's not like it's just kind of like you follow the lead of whatever the data tells you. And if the universe is expanding, then it must have been more condensed previously. And then if you follow that, and obviously it's highly accurately calculated. It's not just like an idea. That's the difference. So like it matches most cosmological observations. The fact that the galaxies seem to be held together a lot tighter than they're supposed to be, it does tell you that there's probably some kind of a exotic form of matter there, and which, by the way, isn't crazy. Like it's not crazy. It's just the universe is probably it's pretty weird, but it's possible that also gravity is not working how we think it does. Sure, but no, I think the Big Bang theory holds pretty well for most things. And
I guess where I'm coming from is I'm okay with postponing this ultimate, question of how did this begin? When there's other like holes, or not other holes, but other unknowns, like what is this dark energy that's holding things together, or what is this
That dark matter.
dark matter? Yeah, dark mass is holding everything together. I'm okay with postponing the big question until we saw.
I guess I'm saying there's always going to be holes. There's never going to be a situation in which you're not going to have holes, because in order to do that, you're going to have to understand all of reality, which of course you can't do unless as long as you're inside of reality. I don't think you can do that. Now, I know most physicists saying you can, but I don't think so. This is like kind of like this. Hey, Casey, how are you, brother? Good to see you. Oh, I didn't even see you there. And there's and I see. So I was here as well. If you can just drop so we have regulars that always come on. If somebody new wants to come and chat, you're more than welcome to do so. But if you can just drop a subject in the messages, so that way we know exactly what we're about to talk about. Now, throw you on. What's up, Waffle Time? We'll continue the subject in one moment. Casey, how are you, brother?
Very good. I'll wait till you say ready.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So if I'm just gonna mute you for a second because it's
I got it. Sorry.
Thank you, brother. If you're trying to calculate things in terms of observation of like how things unfold in the universe, we have a pretty good idea to a very high degree of accuracy at how many seconds from the moment of whatever the Big Bang was, which of course, it wasn't a bang. It was most likely inflation, which isn't a bang at all. It's a form of stretching of space because of internal negative pressure, that the growth of it. So I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's something absolutely insane. It's basically the universe kind of became almost half of the size of what it is right now. Like I think like a picosecond after, so like something crazy. And then it was like a whole cooling down, a whole process. And we account for all of these things, and they track and they map perfectly on the famous image of the what is it called, the background radiation of the universe, right? So it maps on perfect. The chunks, the clumps map on perfectly. Have you ever read Max Tegmark's book, A Mathematical Universe?
No, I haven't.
So there he kind of describes all the different forms of multiverses, and he gives a very accurate account because he was involved in kind of like figuring some big stuff with that. And he makes probably the most current, most cutting edge kind of like understanding of the Big Bang Theory and how it is. It's a really well written book. I don't agree with the punchline that the universe is ultimately mathematical, but it is a very, very well written. And if you really want a really good understanding both of the history of how it came about that we started thinking this way, or like got convinced of thinking this way, this would be the book. But we definitely account for a lot. Like I think we live in an age where it's very trendy to say the next hot take. So I think a lot of physicists jump on that bandwagon because they get attention that way. It's like, oh no, it's all nonsense. It's like, okay, well, we do calculate a lot of things with that, so it's not complete nonsense.
Yeah. About 10 years ago, I saw a paper that was kind of like talking about these quantum fluctuations in the early universe. And they were essentially claiming, it was a paper out of Egypt, which a lot of people wrote off, but it essentially said that if you...
Was it written inside the pyramids?
Yeah, exactly. It was found in the deep underneath.
The paper was found under the
but it was essentially proposing that the universe can be infinite.
It probably is.
Which is, yeah.
Yeah, the full existence universe. Yeah, probably is. I don't see. Yeah. By the way, I don't think anybody like serious in cosmology or in astrophysics really thinks that the ultimate conclusion is that somehow before was just not a thing. I mean, I know a few people think that, but like they even themselves say, no, it was a quantum soup. Okay, well, the quantum soup is not nothing, right? It's like it's a something. Again, the container problem. So I do think that most of them accept the fact that we simply will never truly know the absolute. So what they're hoping, the best thing they're hoping for is that we're going to know the most we can know about the current observable universe, like whatever the light cone allows us to do. Hey Don, how are you? Thank you so much.
I once asked my friend why
you want me to help you?
black hole physics is the key for unifying physics.
Which one?
And
what did you say? Which one is to unify physics?
Oh, I once asked my friend why he thought black hole physics was the key for unifying.
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling me that black holes having this insane mass, they behave like quantum particles. And specifically, I think he was talking about how the information of a black hole is on its surface, right? But he's saying that's very much so a quantum property. And so if they could kind of solve this black hole, if they can kind of solve this black hole physics problem of like why this massive, body of mass behaves like a quantum particle, and that they could unify these two branches of physics. And I thought that was interesting, but I guess I never really thought of a black hole like a quantum particle or a quantum system.
I think it's all happening on that event horizon is where all that information is. And it's not some sort of correlation to, I can't remember what it is, but like saying quantum state, can't remember what the element is that goes quantum like it does on the event horizon. Yeah. As I recall.
After the event horizon? You mean the singularity?
Right. No, just all the information of a black hole is contained on the event on the event horizon itself.
Oh yeah, the holographic principle.
Okay.
Yeah, it's essentially what leads some people to believe that we're actually inside of a giant black hole, because all the information would be stored on the event horizon, smeared on the two-dimensional filament outside of the black hole, and everything inside of the black hole will basically be a representation of that. Thank you, the Rock Steady podcast. I appreciate you. What did I want to say? What I wanted to do is actually read the quote that we were talking about before, Nico. So I think that in the audiobook, Stephen Fry is the one who reads this, which is so magnificent. But basically it goes, there is a theory which states that if ever anyone discovers exactly what the universe is for and why it is here, it will instantly disappear and be replaced by something even more bizarre and inexplicable. There is another theory which states that this has already happened. I cannot recommend this book enough. I think it begins with what was it beginning with? Something quick. It's like in the beginning, the universe was created, which was regarded by many as a really bad idea.
Thing, it seems like during all
It's so great. Where were we? Oh, black holes, right? So why is it that it's interesting, Nico, because you are, again, kind of like bringing it back to the fact that you are in academia, or not anymore, but we're in academia, and touch this stuff quite a bit, and you are a scientist, but because you're not in the field, but you still understand how the scientific method works pretty well. What is it about the Big Bang Theory that kind of rubs you the wrong way? Just the chunks that are missing, but because the chunks missing in every single theory everywhere.
So there's a couple of things, right? So in 2011, I believe we discovered the universe is accelerating, right? So one of the arguments that I heard from the Big Bang Theory is there was this Big Bang, and that's why the universe is decelerating.
Who said this?
Right? We can measure it. And I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because bangs decelerate over, like that's what they do. And then the Nobel Prize was given to scientists in 2012, where they found that it was accelerating, and then they brought back the Einstein's constant. And then there was this argument of okay, well, maybe it's not homogeneous, right? Maybe it's accelerating in some areas and decelerating in other areas. Maybe it's more complicated than just accelerating or decelerating, right? So that was the first kind of chink in that theory for me, that I was like, oh, okay, like maybe space is not this homogeneous medium, and maybe the laws of physics, which when we measure them here on Earth, everything is so fine-tuned, right? And we assume that these constants are fine-tuned and constant everywhere in the universe, right? And so for me, there's a lot of questions that I'm like, when I look at the parameter space, I think, okay, well, there's too many questions for me to say anything concretely. I mean, it's one of the cleanest data sets you could find. But I feel like there are so many unknowns that I'm just not quick to make any conclusions about anything. But I'm also not an expert in this field at all. I'm just
the thing with
that can just admire.
Yeah, the Big Bang Theory is definitely based on observation, not on a lot of hypotheticals. That's actually from all the theories that we have about reality, it's the one that probably rests on the most external observation. At this point, quantum field theory definitely holds the title because of the amount of data we have from CERN. But up until that point, the Big Bang Theory is definitely the most observation-based theory that exists. So it's not like a, and again, you know the story, right? The Big Bang
is an extrapolation, right? It's
all theories are extrapolations, though. They're all stories, right?
Yes. But the thing is, so one of the things you have to be careful about when you measure data is you can interpolate, and you're cool. As soon as you extrapolate beyond the data that you have to this point 0, t is equal to 0, or t is equal to point, 30 zeros and then a 1. I think, and we measure this stuff like in the Large Hadron Collider. You can measure high energy, you can measure particles form, right? You can measure the subatomic particles, and so there is this evidence of we're able to measure what potentially happened in the early universe. I understand all that, but it all kind of feels extremely I don't know how all the mass in the universe or all the energy in the universe was once in a single point smaller than a nickel. I don't know how to understand that.
Well, it's because space-time itself does not abide by the laws of physics.
Yeah, one thing on the measurement thing that I was going to bring up, and then measurement, so maybe it plays in, is I found out recently that when they measure the temperature of the surface of the sun, they measure it as 0 degrees. It's because it's so much lower than the internal temperature and the external temperatures that the math just works for them to leave it at 0 instead of whatever temperature the actual surface of the sun is, and then everything works for them by doing that.
I'm confused. You're talking about they're averaging it out for themselves?
When they do the math for the the cosmic equations for measuring the sun and where it is and everything else, they always measure
our sun, our specific sun.
Yep, the surface.
It can't possibly be. It can't possibly be from a universal perspective. Maybe you're talking about when they're trying to do measurements only with the sun. They're kind of setting their own parameters. Maybe that makes sense. Like they put the surface of the sun at 0, so they kind of know what the average diminishment and more and more temperature on the core, but there's no way they're saying it's 0 like 0 Celsius. Yeah.
It's not, well, but no, they don't. But for all their equations, they have it at 0 because of I think it's, as I recall, because it's such a difference in temperature to the core and its external external radiation.
I
So just the math works fine. Just leave it at zero. And it kind of sounds like maybe perhaps what Nico's saying was like when you get down to so many so many decimals, it just maybe doesn't really make a difference.
No, it does. It definitely does. I think you're talking about when they're only talking about the sun and nothing else but the sun. So they're averaging it out for the sun. There's no way they're saying it's zero. We know the average temperature of the surface of the sun. I don't know what it is, but we definitely know what it is, and it's not zero. There's no also zero what?
0 degrees. What kind of degree? In the equations, when they were doing equations for the sun, the temperature of the sun, they leave the surface at 0 in their equation.
Right, because temperatures are because they're conventions. So like you can set 100 degrees Fahrenheit, Celsius, where boiling point of water, and you can say it's 0, but then everything else will have to shift with it. So they're probably you're probably talking about something in which they're doing like a special calculation just for the sun and no other systems. So it's almost like they're treating the sun as a closed system, and then they kind of treat it as, okay, this is baseline surface, that's going to be 0. But there's no way they're doing that if they're comparing it to other solar systems, or maybe they do it across suns in general, maybe. But there's no way if they're comparing it to other objects in the universe or to temperatures in general in the universe. They can't do that because we already have conventions. Why would they change the conventions just for that one calculation? If they're doing an internal model of just one object, it makes sense to do it because it's probably easier, and then they probably have a way also to convert these numbers. But if you are talking about the totality of things, you're going to have to start moving everything else, and that actually is a lot more work. So there's no way they're doing that. But I would love to see what you're talking about because I've never heard of this. But it does make sense to me that if they're doing that, they're doing it for one object, like for, they just decide that within the framework they're working right now, that's 0. But of course, it's not 0, and usually things in the universe are measured in Kelvin anyway. So, and there's no 0 Kelvin, it doesn't exist, because that means no movement whatsoever, and that simply is not a thing. That's not a state that exists in the universe. So I hear what you're saying, but it's probably because they're treating the sun as a separate object. By the way, the books that I put as a recommendation, those are 3 books. I don't know why I didn't put it in a row. My first book is always The Beginning of Infinity. Autobiography of a Yogi would be the second one, and Brief History of Time. Those are the 3, I think, the best ones that give you kind of like a good framework of everything we understand about the world so far. Where did you hear this, Casey? Disappeared.
Covering up the subject real quick.
Yeah. Where did you hear the Sun 0 thing?
That was with Jacques Vallée in an interview he did recently.
Hold on, I want to know what was talked about. There's no way that it has anything to do with anything else but measuring only the sun and nothing else.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jacques Vallée talking about the surface of the sun being measured as 0 degrees. Some information exists only regarding Jacques Vallée's discussion, the flat Earth theory, including podcast episode. Is that what we're talking about?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I'll find it.
Find it. Yeah. there's one post that says, "I'm freezing at 21 degrees Celsius. Is this normal?" Wait. Actually, I can even. Let me ask in general here. Because under special conditions, you can absolutely treat something as baseline. People do this all the time. But it's usually because you're only working within a very limited framework and you don't need to ever interact with anything outside of it. The second you start doing universal things, it doesn't make sense to do that. General new. Let's see. Let's see what ChatGPT says. What's the GitHub? better understand reality. And actually, the second book, well, it was the first one, The Fabric of Reality. That's probably one of the best ones in terms of like really going deep into, you know. It's also by David Deutsch. The Fabric of Reality was also a really good book. Space, its counter. Hey Nico, is this like one of these, like, it's gonna sound such a lame and silly question to you probably, but like, is there like a crazy number of materials we discover a year at this point? Or is it still pretty rare to discover like a completely new material?
Well, recently there was this massive library of materials that were calculated with AI that are possible. So they say that we theoretically discovered, I think it's like 1 million new materials. But as far as making them, it takes a really long time to make them. But I imagine globally there's like a couple hundred new materials a year that are made in every sector. So like battery, electrolytes, and cathodes and anodes, and then superconducting metals. Like there's a lot of work, but it takes so long to make anything. Even polymers are kind of slow. People aren't really innovating that many new polymers, but I imagine it's on the order of like 100 or so. It takes a long time to make a polymer in the first.
Whatever happened to that big promise of carbon nanotubes and things like this, like super materials?
Yeah, that was huge. That was nanotubes.
You disappeared for a second. Say again.
Oh yeah, I think that was like all the craze in the 80s, and the late 80s and early 90s.
So to anybody anybody who doesn't know, carbon nanotubes was this promising material that it was basically carbon, that it was basically the molecular structure was made into like it was rolled up, right? Like almost like a cylinder. So it created like this very strong durability. So basically the promise was that if you can make them long enough, you can replace they always gave this crazy numbers of like, you can replace all the cables that hold the Golden Bridge with something with the width of the human hair or something like that, right? But they could never make them long. You can only make them like short. So basically they just failed to make them long. That's what happened.
Yeah, so carbon nanotubes are a really interesting material, because when you take carbon in three-dimensional form, right, like a perfect lattice, you have diamond, which is the strongest material on Earth. But then if you flatten it to 2 dimensions, you get these like honeycomb patterns, and you get this sheet of carbon, and that's called graphene, right? And so you use that in lead, it slips. So it has really good strength in the XY direction, but in the Z direction, it's really brittle. And the scientists figured out, what if you take these graphene sheets, and what if you curl them into a tube, like a straw? And the cool thing about graphene is that it's electrically conductive. So when you apply current, it flows really nicely. And so the idea here is you can make these like highly conductive carbon nanotubes. But yeah, it turns out it's really hard to make, a single piece that's long. And so you can only kind of make them in fragments. And I think they started using them as fillers in certain composites, but it never really took off in any serious application from what I gathered. But like a lot of things, right? A lot of things are really cool in theory, but like, it's really hard to commercialize.
Yeah. And so, by the way, Don, the what you said about fusion. So fusion is still not really a thing. I know there was like a big story, but if you think about it for 2 seconds, so the amount of energy they actually had to expend to make it happen was still a lot greater than fusion. Like the instance when they activated the machine and did the thing, yes, there was more force. I don't remember how long was it, that there was like a certain period of time in which they produced more energy than they put into activating the machine. But the amount of effort and energy that was put into making this project happen was astronomically greater than the amount of energy that you received. So if you can scale not just that one instance, but also the process around it, then you're going to have real fusion. We have a chance because we proved that you can do it, at least when you turn on the machine. But the amount of just the raw labor, like the amount of people involved, like all the stuff that you have to do to power the building, that has to be taken into account. This is why fusion is still very much not actually a thing. Is that actually we never heard it from them again, huh? After that one big report.
Yeah, I don't. Fusion is pretty wild. I've heard that fusion is actually real though, and it's possible to. Like I heard from some scientists at LBL, and
Yeah, they made it. They
Yeah.
announced it. I don't think it was 2014. It was
a
2000.
couple years ago, I think. Right?
Yeah, a couple of years ago. But that's what I'm saying. That later, when you actually analyze the thing, it's like, oh, right. I don't know why I didn't think of it myself. Like the amount of work that it took to make it happen still is way greater than the amount of energy you got.
Yeah, but they got it to be stable. They showed that they can do it in a stable way, which was groundbreaking. Because I think our parents were hearing about that since like the '60s, right? Like that's the next wave.
Yeah, and I mean they show it's possible. I think it's just that the systems that are going to have to be in place. It's almost like the investment is going to have to be across a considerable amount of operation and time. So like maybe 10 years down the line, and if you like automate a process that just kind of runs, eventually you will catch on and it's going to start paying off basically. Or you're going to need a machine that's going to be, I don't know, 10 times, maybe 100 times bigger, which I'm not really sure. And think about how much money it would cost to actually build that.
Yeah, the closest thing to a free lunch we have, I think, is nuclear energy, like fission.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? I mean, I would love to see the day where I have a nuclear reactor, like everyone has one in their garage or something. But maybe that will never happen. But a lot of things are said to be materials problems. Like quantum computing for a while was said to be a materials problem. Can you make a stable qubit at room temperature? I think Richard Dawkins recently said something where if you look at the human mind, and it's a computer made of water and carbon. So and it's the most efficient computer ever known. So there's this he was essentially saying we need to create biological computers instead of silicon-based computers. But I think silicon-based computers are super powerful. I don't necessarily think we need to try to reinvent the brain.
I think it's just a different thing because of I think the way that electricity is being conducted through silicon is a lot more efficient. But the way the brain achieves it is a lot more intricate. So there's a lot more connections. But again, evolution had so many years to kind of hone in on it.
Exactly.
And by the way, Don, again, interstellar travel versus economics. I get the gist of what you're saying, but it's actually not one versus the other. That you actually have to think of economics more than anything when you're talking about deep space travel. Because you got to be very your economy has to be really on point because you are working with very limited resources and you have to sustain yourself for long periods in space. So figuring out a system that is very economical is the only way to do it outside of just the technological sophistication you're going to need. So like how you organize, the inner politics of let's say a spaceship that goes one direction towards like a different star system. What is the hierarchy? How people get valued? So like how do they get paid? Because they don't need money; they're just on one system, right? But and everybody has to have a job. You can't just have slackers on that ship. Like there's so much that needs to go into like figuring out how you work that out. And so I think economics is actually a very, very important thing when it comes to deep space.
I was talking with Buddy the other day, and he brought up a subject that was pretty fascinating. Our planet has a harmonic frequency resonance. other planets have a different harmonic frequency going. Wonder what that would do to the cells in our body if they would even be able to maintain on another planet that's resonating at different harmonics. You know, like kind of akin to what Michael Levine was talking about with Andres and that window.
I don't know if they were talking about the harmonic oscillation of the planet related to this. Actually, the last time I checked, somebody came on and also talked about it, and all the stuff that I looked up was not real. Like there was never like actually like a robust study of this. That people talked about it, but I've never seen any study that kind of went deep and actually analyzed it.
Levine was talking about how they could alter the single cell nematodes with electrical frequencies. Like they could definitely get them to mutate different, by alternatives.
Right. But what Earth's harmonic oscillation? You're talking about the Schumann resonance or something else?
I'm just talking about all frequencies. I think all of ours.
So every electricity in your body produces more oscillation than that. So it's not really doing anything, or at least nothing that we can see. So I understand the idea, and it is a very alluring idea from a spiritual perspective, because it's like, well, our birth star oscillates in a particular way that helps us live. Maybe it's even true. I'm just saying that I looked into it as much as I could, and I'm always open to data, but there's no data. There's zero data on this. There's people talk about it all the time, but if you look, you'll see there's no data on this. So it's just kind of like an idea that people have. But it is interesting if there is such a thing. What I would be interested in, what field is actually influencing all of that. So like all of these have to be mediums, right? So, and I'm very open to the possibility that, like, I don't think we're gonna fall apart. Like I think eventually life finds a way, right? And knowledge even more finds a way. Like we're gonna figure out a way. If we figure out what it is, we can maybe create these oscillations. This is the thing, like the thing that I keep talking about, which is that ultimately we are the solution. So it's almost like Earth made us to come up with the better solutions over time. So like it came up with some solutions, but if we keep saying, oh, well, whatever Earth made, that's it. It's almost like Earth goes, ugh, like I made you for this. You're supposed to be doing this. You're supposed to be coming up with the solutions. So it's like that. That's basically how I see it. I know it's a very unpopular way of thinking, even on my channel, but that's my impression, that like we're missing the point. we're the ones that are supposed to be coming up with the solution.
I like it. Another thing, if I could throw out one more subject, I started watching this seminar on Merkaba mysticism, and there was a part in it where they talk about how they behold the palaces, the Hekala, or I think that's what they call them, and they were emphasizing how it is something that you can actually. It's so separate from this reality that, you, like in the word "beheld," you can hold it and see it. It reminded me of like when talking about the code, how it is so real that you can. It's right there. It's separate. It just reminded me of that.
So what reminded you? Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Julie. Awesome. What reminded you of that? I missed that part.
Oh, it was an introduction to Merkaba mysticism.
So you mean just with the vividness that they're experiencing it?
Yeah, how it's so separate from this reality. The palaces that they would behold.
Are you talking about what Kirsten is talking about?
No, I didn't know someone else was talking about it.
Wait, you experienced it?
No, I was watching a seminar on.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Seminar. Yeah. Where was the seminar?
It was a seminar on Merkaba mysticism.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, and they also were talking about how the whole process was humans weren't supposed to be holding these palaces. They would have to sneak in. It was basically an operation to sneak into these realms, and sometimes you could use passcodes, and other times you could be made to become an angel. Like, for example, I think Enoch Miller, Ezekiel, one of those guys became an angel once in. Yeah,
Enoch is a great name. Well, what's your name? Enoch. Nice to meet you.
I'm a sleep staff.
You got to have that voice. You cannot have that voice. Can't be like Enoch. Nice to meet you. That's not gonna work.
It just reminded me a lot about when you're describing the.
So no, I don't know. I'm thinking about it because the more generalized point, I guess, is that there are these experiences that feel extremely realistic. I mean, I guess the molecule in general as well. And aren't people they're doing a lot of astral projection also saying that the astral plane also feels like super real, like kind of like very different and all of that?
Yeah, for me it does. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Oh, right. Because I forgot that you're one of these people, actually. Okay. So, would you say that from what you've heard in the lecture you're talking about, does it feel like they're describing more than just the astral plane realness? Like it's even more real than that? Like, where would you place that?
Well, I mean, what they were talking about reminded me a lot of like what you had been shown with the hierarchy and the with the giant how the grand system unfolds. They showed you that.
Okay.
It sounded very much along those lines. Like,
and under what banner? Like what was the mystic school? What is the teaching?
Of these guys, the Merkaba
mysticism? Yeah.
Well, it's a whole thing. It's a whole school. I don't know. It's a little bit complicated, but they descend and ascend into these different realms. And I haven't gotten to the part why there's a descent and an ascent, but
yeah,
it was just it's I don't know.
Is it one of the like Jewish like Zohar like from the Kabbalah and stuff? Yeah.
It's kind of weird. It's kind of they think it may have been like a group of anti-rabbinical practitioners where they were
anti-rabbinical.
Taking things in their own hand.
Well, I mean, the Zohar is known to be like there was a period, like the Kabbalah. So the Zohar is the book, the Kabbalah.
The Kabbalah came out about 800 years ago. This is looking like it could have come out around 300 BC or something.
Right. So there's a lot of offshoots, and I think the Kabbalah was also like kind of like made illegal for periods, right?
Definitely.
No, but there's definitely like all of these things, like even the word Merkaba, like Merkaba in Hebrew means a chariot.
Right.
Merkaba is like literally the chariot of God. So it's like it's a and by the way, the if you don't know, you probably do, but like anybody who never made a connection, the Star of David is basically a two-dimensional. It's a Merkaba from the side. Merkaba is like the whole thing. The Star of David is basically a slice of a Merkaba. Like if you look from the side, that's what the symbolism is.
Andres Gomez is a 4D matrix website where you can experiment with four-dimensional matrices that you could really get a good visual of how that tree of life goes three-dimensional. Because once those patterns cross, for a few seconds they form these intricate three-dimensional tree of life all connected now. It's really cool. So that's good visual.
Wait, what happened? All right. Wow, right at 4:55. Yeah, see, I wish I would have more experience with these things. I just have no, like, they're interesting, but like I can't comment on them because I never had these experiences.
I think that it doesn't really make a difference because the correlations between what you do have experience with and comment on is so similar. It's just
I wish I could know, man. I wish I could know. And Dawn is saying that for her, the dreams were also very, very real. Nico, it just made me so happy that you came back. Made me so sad that you disappeared.
Me too.
I exited the app to respond to an email and it disconnected me. So sorry for that.
That made us very sad, brother. So it's interesting. I've seen you say this before, Dawn, that your dreams are like super vivid or were super vivid. You want to tell me that they're more vivid than reality? And maybe didn't you say something similar, Casey?
Astral dreams are always the most vivid. Like it's different than a dream. I can feel hot wind on my face, and I can tell that it's a different thing.
It's so wild, man. Nico, did you ever had any of these?
No, unfortunately, my dreams are all like shitty and Like, yeah, like I had a dream last night that someone stole my car. Like,
Oh shit.
it was like those aren't good dreams. I'm not astroplaning or anything. Yeah, and it's all the thing is, it feels real, but I guess the idea that vivid dreaming, or what is it called, when you are aware that you're dreaming. See, I've never had that happen. So lucid dreaming.
Yeah.
You never had lucid dreaming?
Never had lucid dreaming ever. Maybe
Whoa,
I think
dude.
one time I had a fever of like 104, and I think I had a pretty insane dream. But other than that, pretty boring.
So, do you remember a few years back when they started talking about how they had mapped the galaxies and that our galaxy was colliding with another one?
No, it will for sure. The Andromeda Galaxy will collide with us in about 1 million years. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not going to make any difference to anybody living inside of them. Did you know that?
Nothing is going to collide, right?
Yeah, but because this is usually this little fun fact is expressed to illustrate how far stars are from one another. Even though from afar it looks like a very dense galaxy, right? But when the galaxies are going to start colliding, it's going to be a very long process, obviously, because they're first going to start influencing each other, and then they're going to spin around, and then the supermassive black holes in the middle will eventually start spinning around each other, create a lot of tidal forces in the center, and eventually they will probably merge. But in this whole process, that's going to take, I don't know how long, but a very, very, very long time. The chances of any star inside of each galaxy, aside from the center, it's always more chaotic because there's supermassive black holes that always suck things in and all that stuff. But all the rest of outside of the immediate zone where the supermassive black holes influence the stars in the center, the chances of any star in the galaxies while they're colliding, while they're mixing up together, like two drinks, touching one another or colliding with one another is close to zero. So literally, if you're living in the galaxy, you're still probably not going to experience anything crazy, aside from the fact that your sky is going to be a lot more lit up. But no big cataclysmic events are going to happen to any civilization living around these stars.
Yeah, wild. And that'll happen in what, like 1 billion years?
Maybe 1 billion. I thought it was 1 million. Let's see. I thought it was 1 million, but let's see. How long before?
A few weeks ago, I was playing with the 3-body problem simulations, where you can simulate 3 problems. And dude, it always ejects.
Oh, sorry. I way miscalculated. Sorry. 4.5 billion years. We have some time. So, never mind then. We can sleep. Continue.
Yeah. No, I was saying, when you do 3-body problem simulations, it's really hard to get a stable trajectory over a long period of time. It typically ejects with like a third body.
Uh-huh.
And I was thinking about that, and I was like, why don't we just have planets ejected all over the place, just flying around, right? Like,
what?
And in the 3-body problem, when you do the simulation, it's hard to stabilize.
No, that part I heard, but then you said something that I didn't quite catch towards the end.
I was wondering, like, why don't we just see planets flying all over the place, right? Like,
because they're stabilized, because it's not a 3-body problem, it's a 1-body problem. because you mean inside of a solar system? The star is so much more massive than everything else. That is basically a 2-body problem. It's the star and everything else.
There's a theory about Earth though, where apparently, so the way that the moon, there's a theory of how the moon was created, which was that you have like a Mars-sized body, which was original Earth, and then another Mars-sized body crashed into that, and it formed the one larger planet, and the crust. It shaved off the crust, and that became the moon. And so the theory is that the moon is actually made of the Earth's crust before this massive. Yeah,
this is the most accepted theory, but it's like, again, people are. This is like a what should we call it? I mean, it is a theory, but like it's a like that's what happened. It's like this is not like all we think. Like this is most likely what happened. In fact, the moon matches almost perfectly inside one of the oceans. I forget which one.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Earth. Yeah.
No, I think the original Earth one. I forget the name of it. It's a cool name. What was the name of Earth one? Before the big collision. It was called Thea. That was the name of the other planet. 4.5 billion years ago. Everything is 4.5 billion years, man. That sounds suspicious. Greek mythology. Mother of Selene. Before the collision, before the hypothesized collision, Earth existed in a formative, likely molten state, mostly. So it wasn't really even cooled down enough. But it was. Was it? Does it postulate that it was also the size of Mars? I thought it was a lot bigger than that.
No, actually, you're right. I think the body of that craft was the size of Mars, but I think Earth One or Thea.
No, Thea was what collided into us.
Oh, I thought Thea was the Earth, the Mars-sized planet.
It says named Thea collided with the early Earth approximately 4.5 billion years ago.
Okay.
So what? Wait. But what was? Come on, man. Just Google is not good enough, man. I tried Google and disappoints.
Is that ChatGPT?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's wild how I guess I could see why Oumuamua was such a rare instance of something coming from a different solar system and just slingshotting so perfectly to just shoot right by us.
You remember when Elon Musk was on Joe Rogan and they mentioned it and Elon Musk like a 4-year-old and he says, "What, your mama?" And then he goes like, and then Joe didn't like, he heard the joke, but he's like, it's not funny enough, so he just moved on. And then Elon repeated it because he thought Joe didn't hear it. So it's like, your mama. It's like, he's like, and Joe looks at him and was like, dude, what? Used a few outreach articles. Oh, I thought that was a name. Apparently not really. I mean, I guess Gaia or Telos, but it doesn't really say. Planet formations usually keep things simple. They just call out our world before the giant impact, the proto-Earth, unlike its hypothesized impactor Thea. And I guess it's more hypothesized than I thought. I was convinced it's more like mainstream understanding, but I think you're right, Nico. Greek Titan who mothered Selena, Moon Proto-Earth. Proto-Earth is kind of cool. They never really picked an official name. Boo.
That's going to be my next podcast name, Proto-Earth.
Proto-Earth. Why are you going back, bro? Let's go to the future. There was a really cool like I know so much about space stuff because I used to like, this was my favorite thing growing up, but I know almost nothing about the evolution of the Earth and all the geological stuff. I just didn't care about that stuff. So recently, you know, this channel, the history of space or something like that, really cool channel. So he has another channel, the history of the Earth. And he talks about all of that stuff and like all the biggest theories as to how all these things happen. And he talks about, you know, the actual explanation of the tectonic plates and how they work and all the different levels of. I'm like, dude, this is insane. Like, I knew none of this stuff. Like, it's just, and I realized how ignorant I was, and so I nerded out on the whole thing, and I still barely recall because it's not. It never really sticks. Like, some people love this stuff, and for me, it's just kind of like I don't know. It just never truly grabs me, but in the moment, it's fascinating to me.
Yeah, Earth is a crazy system. There's a lot of, the rock cycle and just the carbon cycle, all this stuff coming together and spontaneously sprouting life, or like the self-assembly of love, even just like the early concepts of a cell, right? Like you can replicate that in a lab. And the concept of metabolism of chemical reactions coming together, it's pretty insane. There's definitely a driving force to go from low order to high order. But then at the same time, there's this driving force to go from order, or like from, I guess, release energy, right, in the form of heat. And so they both seem very connected. And it's just, like when they discovered the 14 amino acids in that asteroid just flying in space, they discovered 14 amino acids, which are the building, which is like half our recipes for life on Earth. It made me realize it was like a reality check for me, because I knew that life is originating, or I know that there is alien life. I just didn't realize that the building blocks are literally everywhere, or potentially everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm. What are they? Extremophobes? Afraid of extremes. Yeah. No, absolutely. I think. Oh, it's after midnight. All right, I think I need to slowly adjourn, because these nights are getting shorter and shorter. Did I forget something? No, I don't know. My brain is like shutting down. Nico, thank you so much for always being here, brother. Casey, same. I love you guys. It's always amazing to be. Evil Icon, thank you so much for the incredible gifts. I appreciate you. Also love the new thumbnail. It's awesome. Thank you, Don. Have a good night. Oh, there you go. Even the lamp did automatically. Crazy.
I was laughing last night because after your chat, I went into I'm in this like super liberal like TikTok channel, right? I go into the most liberal TikTok channel, and I see Evil Icon there, and I was like, yes. But no, it was funny. So I got really happy. But anyways, damn, I just put
which chat was that? Which chat was that?
No, there's this guy. His name is Good Trouble. I think some people in YouTube probably have heard of him, but he's just like this American Jewish guy who just destroys every person, like every argument. Dude, this guy is so logical. I would love for you to battle him, actually.
Let's go, baby. About what?
Anything.
Oh, cool. Let's go.
He's just logical.
He's logical. He's like Destiny. Destiny is slowly losing his mind.
Oh, wait, is that the ChatGPT investor guy?
No, Destiny is like the master debater, the one that is debating everybody.
Okay.
Yeah. You never heard of Destiny?
No.
Look up Destiny. Just Destiny. There's no way YouTube is gonna find Destiny. Yeah, and he's just he used to be a really famous gamer, and he became kind of like he's just really good at like going through information. So he became like he basically started debating people on every single subject. And he kind of like goes into these like in real time, kind of like does the study and the research and all that stuff. And he became kind of like the most famous debater. Everybody wants to debate him, but he's very much of a Democrat, aside from the part about Israel. So he obviously like studied the whole thing. He's like, yeah, you guys are idiots. But everything else is like very much obviously anti-Trump and all that stuff. And he's literally slowly I've been watching him, like he's like devolving into like this like just angrier and angrier, and he just loses his mind. Like he also talks so fast and he's so jazzed up. It's like, dude, it's like take a chill pill, bro. But he's fun. I mean, it's still fun. It's a lot of fun to watch. What's his actual name? Steven. Steven is his actual name, but he goes by Destiny. Everybody knows him by Destiny.
I'll look him up.
Yeah. He's a really known cat. What else? Yeah, man, totally. I mean, by the way, I to me, for argument for the sake of argument is not. That's child stuff. Like that's way behind me. Like if things that matter, yeah, we can like talk about them, but also not for this. Like I'm not there to dunk. Like if things are important, then I'll talk about them. Otherwise, it's just like it bores me. Because people just because they're not interested in getting any resolution. They're not interested in moving forward. For me, solution-driven conversations are the ones that I'm interested in.
Yeah, actually, I was actually thinking of it the other day. I think you would be a hilarious reactor. Where I was like, I would just love to see your reaction.
Oh,
to this
absolutely.
video.
Yeah. No, I get spicy. I get spicy for sure. It's just like the thing is that when I'm reacclimating to my new like training regime now, I'm trying to keep up a certain level of bringing myself back to shape. And when my body aches over a certain level, I become so impatient. So it's but also like that's when you want to see me react to things. When I'm really impatient, it's like I don't this shit. It's just like get it out of my face. The yeah, it's not good for my health, but it is hilarious sometimes.
Nice. And then one last thing I want to say, and this will plug into your next plug, but I think if we raise 1K for Casey, would you do a backflip live on stream for us?
In the house, dude, I'm gonna have to.
You beat me to it, man. Darn. That's a project.
Oh, nice.
Wait, why do we need to raise 1K for Casey for what? What happened?
No, other Casey, Mexican professor, genius.
First of all, that's a great cause. So it gives me a good opportunity to actually like go back to like the gym and like practice some backflips. Yeah, we can do something like that. I think at that point it's not going to be $1,000 for one person. We should help like multiple individuals. But yeah, that would be fun. We can set it up.
Evil icon. Danny claims he could still do it, but the Danny that did it on video was like peak Ninja Warrior Danny. So,
but that wasn't just a backflip, brother. That was a floor backflip. That was a very hard one.
Yeah, no, totally. That's something's insane. I can never do that.
It's not that hard, actually. It's just laying down in the air and tucking. It's just the fear, overcoming the fear. So you got to do it a lot of times. That's all. But the movement is very easy. So it's you basically have if you go to any parkour gym or you go to what is it called, a gymnastics gym, you know these blocks, the foam blocks, the ones that kind of like really high. You know what I'm talking about? Or you have no idea what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So there's these blocks, right? So you put them next to the wall. That's all you do, and then you cut. So this is the block. This is the wall. This is the block. So if this is the end of the block, right, and this is the top of the block, you're standing here, and usually the block is maybe almost as high as your neck. Let's say that's the block you want, right? So this is you. This is the block. You're facing this way. So pretend that this hand is facing. The face is this way. Okay. So all you do is you jump up first, and you just kind of touch your back on the edge. You just keep doing that, and then eventually you jump up and you land on your back. And that's a little scary in the beginning, but you literally just jump up, land on your back, jump off, jump up, land on your back, jump off, jump up, land on your back, jump off. Do this 100 times. When you're done doing this, all the backflip is you do this, and the second you're here, you tuck your knees in. That's it, and you backflip. You automatically land on the floor.
Is that a conservation of angular momentum, where you change your length and then it rotates you?
Exactly. Yeah. The second you lay down, you tuck.
See, I don't know if I trust physics at that level.
You know what's really scary? Gainers. Those are scary. Gainers are scary, bro. And I fractured my foot doing one time because I was a little bit too cavalier with it. I mastered gainers in like, I don't know, 2 weeks. I don't know how I did it. Usually it takes people a long time. Gainers when you run and you backflip as you run forward, right? But that motion forward and like this weightlessness, and you're like, whoa, like you know. But I don't know why. I was just like, I had a strong tuck, so I had no problem. And then one day I was doing it, and I was like all over it. There was a tricking competition, and I wasn't doing tricking; I was just doing parkour. And then everybody would like, made a big circle, and everybody would come to the center and do something. And all I knew was like Webster's, which is like a front, you flip over your own body with with your leg, and really good gainers. That's all I had. So I was like, I ran to the middle, and I did my Webster, and then I was about to do my gainer, and I think I did one, and then I was about to go into another one, and I did it, and then the speed with which I was coming down with my foot, and I was I've always done it with my shoes. And shoes, they have the sole, the bottom of the shoe is very flat. So when you land, it kind of corrects your foot. What I didn't take into account, or I had no idea, is that when you're doing it barefoot, you actually have to pay attention to where your foot is. You can't just land. And with all the force of all the momentum, I landed on the side of my foot, bro. The you could hear the crack through the entire hole, and it was one of these like in like in hip hop battles, like people go like, oh, like you could hear that like across the entire hall. Everybody like, oh, just like cracked in half. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, that ended your career, huh?
No, I went, played volleyball for 8 hours after this on the beach, and then I was like, I don't know why my foot really hurts. And then I went to and I remember it was, I think, Memorial Day or something. So there was no doctors because it was all like closed. And 3 or 4 days later, I went to the doctor, and by then my foot was like this big. And he's like, "Yeah, you split your foot in half. You got to put a cast." Yeah, that was fun times. That was fun times.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Well, that's yeah.
So backflips for $1,000 for good cause, for people of need. Okay, but that's, I mean, that gives me that gives me a lot of power to do it. Anyways, I need to move my body more and more. So I'm gonna take the bet. If I see it, I'm getting close, I'll let you know, and we can do something.
Yeah, you can do some Ido Portal or practice some Ido Portal YouTube videos, and then just do it.
Yeah, I met him. He's a really cool guy. Ido is really cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I met him. I met him in Germany. I'm really good friends with his cousin, with Yohai. Was an incredible guitar player. And I never met him until that moment, but a friend of mine was recording a podcast with him, and she asked me to come and do the production. So I flew to Berlin, and we recorded an episode with him, and it was great. He's a really cool dude.
Right on.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Danny. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you, brother. I'm gonna start working on my back talk. Casey, you're the man, brother. Love you. If you follow our incredible guests, Nico, Nikomacay, Nikomacay on TikTok, and Casey, CAW_AHA, CAW_AHA. Follow them on TikTok. They're incredible friends and guests. If you want to follow me across platforms, it would be Danny Goller on TikTok and Instagram. It'll be Goller Danny on X. It'll be LaserX83 on Twitch. We didn't tell people, huh? And Dango Thoughts on YouTube. DANGO Thoughts on YouTube. Come join the membership program, because on Sunday we have a members live for members only, in which we dive much deeper into topics. It's a lot more focused about a particular subject. You can also sign up for the second tier and up, and you will get access to Zoom calls with me, and one is coming up soon. If you do, please make sure that you email me to lasersimulationx@gmail.com so I can email you a Zoom link. You don't need to remember this. It's all written down. Come join our Discord group, the link to which you can find on my YouTube channel and on my link tree on TikTok. You can also still donate to the film, still contribute. You can find the GoFundMe page under a trailer on my YouTube page on Dango Thoughts. Go find the trailer, the discovery, and you can find the GoFundMe page. It's for most people it's a chunk of money, but if you donate anywhere above $1,000, you would get an actual first screening with everybody that are donated over $1,000. Either we're going to figure out a way, if people can't travel, that they can kind of join, or obviously a location where people can come and watch the movie together for the first time in the world, and nobody has ever watched it before. So we're going to have that. That's a lot of fun. Also, if you want to check out our website, codeofreality.com, where we have our merch, we have our lasers. I know a lot of people are waiting for the lasers. We're still battling with the diodes. They went through customs, but now that the whole something with the shipment. Anyways, we'll see what's going on with that. Worst comes to worst, we'll just refund everybody. There's no problem. We're not trying to get anybody upset, but currently we know it's in the US. So we managed to ship a few, because we managed to procure a few lasers out of nowhere. But anyways, all of that is there as well. And I want to encourage people to donate to our person of need that is still Casey. I think we're almost there with everything he needed for 1 month. But if you guys have $1 you guys can spare, that dollar will go directly to Casey. The channel is not keeping any of that money. It goes directly to a person of need, 100% of it. And currently we're donating to a gentleman named Casey, who is living in Mexico on very little. He survives on $150 a month. And currently, Evil Icon, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Very, very generous of you. And again, please only donate if it is absolutely not a problem for you. Do not donate if that dollar means a lot to you, and that means you're going to have to give up something very important to you because of it. Don't do it. Only if it's really no problem whatsoever, please donate that $1 every few days. We can actually help a lot of people in a month because quite a few people coming to these lives. So I appreciate all the people that are donating. When they're donating, thank you so much. Okay, so that being said, I think we will adjourn for today. Come join our Discord, guys. Going to remind you. Thank you so much for our incredible moderators. Guru, you're the man, brother. Thank you so much. Also, Ebony and Chris, who we have been missing for a few days now because they're very busy together, and it's a beautiful thing. And Jessica as well. Thank you so much, you guys, for always being here, always supporting, always doing your incredible work. Without you, this would not flow that easy. And I want to thank all our incredible guests and our community members, old and new. If you're old, if you're new, and you're new to the channel or old to the channel, I really appreciate you for always being here, always supporting and making this what this is. It's an absolute pleasure to be here every evening, and sometimes just shooting the shit, and sometimes talking about serious stuff, and sometimes just doing whatever. And that's a lot of fun doing it together. Thank you, guys. Have a good night, everyone. Peace and love. Ciao. Have a good night, everyone.